Dad left when I was 7. Mom raised us 4 kids by herself. I know it's a strong word, but I hated him. I hated what he did to Mom. I hated that we grew up with nothing. And I really hate it for what he did to my mother. I think that was the most wrenching thing for me, was to see my mom cry and have such a hard life because she was on her own. And so, yeah, I mean, I really hated that man. I didn't want to have anything to do with him, nothing. When I was 32, I got baptized and saved. We began to try and find a home church. And every time we went to a church, they talked about the scripture, honor your father and your mother and you will live long in the land. After the 3rd time, I told my husband, I said, well, I knew God was speaking to me and it was time. So I wrote a letter to my dad and just said, hey, I forgive you for what you've done because of what Christ has done for me. And I didn't realize how deep down that hate was. But to release that and truly turn it over to the Lord and say, hey, it's not my burden to carry anymore, just like the weight had been lifted. And then a couple days later, I got a call from him. In those 26 years, I didn't know who he was. Come to find out, he had become a Christian. He actually started a church, and his church was having a retreat at Ridgecrest. Well, we had a small prayer circle after that, and it broke up. And so we went out. He said, well, you can ask me anything you want. So I asked him if he had any more children. And there was one particular that he told me about that upset me because he was telling me that he had bought her this and had bought her that, and just couldn't believe it because we grew up with Mom working all these jobs and not having anything, and yet he provided these things for her. And so at that point, I just got so angry. I just knew that that relationship was over. And so when I got in the room, and I was furious, let me tell you. And Sue was my mentor at that time. And so I told her, I said, let's go, we're leaving. And she said, just wait till the morning. If you still feel like that, we'll go. So we got up real early in the morning and went out on the rocking chairs. And so she's quoting these scriptures to me. And at that moment, I saw my dad walk across the field out there. I said, well, there goes Terry. And I knew at that moment, because I called him Terry, I didn't call him Dad. Something was breaking down. There was some major issues there. And so Sue said to me at that point, she said, are you gonna let the devil win or are you gonna let Jesus win? I had thought I had given all that up because I thought I had forgiven him, but I had forgiven him for what I had known, but I didn't know the rest of the story. So at that point, I said, you're right. I said, can't let the devil win. I got a hold of him. We went to his room. He had been crying. Then I just told him that I forgave him and that I was sorry I acted that way. And come to find out, his dad had done the same thing, had left when he was young. Even though he'd been a pastor all these years, he still carried the guilt, still carried the unforgiveness. So I believe that had to be broken off of him. If he was going to go out and minister to people, that had to be broken off of him. And then we just cried and just prayed together, and all that was broken. That relationship was dead, but through Christ, I was able to forgive Dad, be who God made me to be, not who I thought I needed to be. Once I was in bondage, and now I'm free. And that is the true resurrection story.
By leaving my children, was a selfish thing. But the thing is, our relationship has blossomed, which has helped my understanding of the redemptive powers of Jesus Christ, because I never thought it would. Christ really changed my life, but along with that, he brought miracles, which one of them was this. God's still a miracle worker.